Hello and welcome to the Federal podcast on T20 World Cup 2022. I am Aprameya C of the Federal. India's World Cup dream is over as it lost to England in the semi-final in Adelaide today. It promised so much before the game but turned out to be a one-sided contest with England cruising to a 10-wicket victory and setting up a final meeting with Pakistan in Melbourne on Sunday. To review India versus England match performances and India's overall campaign in this World Cup, we have senior cricket writer R Kaushik joining us from the Adelaide Oval. Thanks, Kaushik, for talking to the Federal.
Too nice to be back. I wish it was under more present circumstances, but that's how sport goes, isn't it?
Right. A huge disappointment, Kaushik, with the way the contest ended today. India was totally outplayed by England. Where do you think it went wrong for Rohit and his men?
Yeah, I think we are being generous if we call this a contest. It was a no contest from the beginning to the end. England set the tone with the ball first and then with the bat, and India simply had no answer to any of the questions that England asked them. To be fair to India, they got the slightly difficult end of the stick when it came to the batting conditions because there was a little bit of dampness, there was a bit of help for the bowlers. The ball was gripping for the spinners, but you expect that in international cricket, don't you? So as the evening progressed, the pitch sort of dried out and became beautiful batting surface. But I don't think India bowled well enough. 168 was not a small score. Yes, we would always want a few more runs on the board, but from where we were and from where England bowled, the way they bowled, to reach 168 was a pretty good effort. But the bowling was quite disappointing. The lengths were pretty poor. Obviously, there were plans, but I don't think they executed their plans very well. And once England got off that start in the first 3-4 overs, when there was 10 runs per over consistently, and then there was no control at all. India neither had the penetration nor the economy. And Hales and Buttler batted beautifully. It was a great spectacle, fantastic show of batsmanship. Hales used the short boundaries brilliantly, playing the sweep or the pull. Buttler was very good down the ground and in front of the wicket as well. So, yeah, there was just no hope for India once they got off to that kind of start.
And was there anything that India could have done differently or maybe played Chahal as well in the team combination or it was a case of one bad day and against a very good opposition?
It was a bad day against a very good opposition. There's no doubt about that. I'm not sure. Chahal has not had much game time. He's not played for the last 3 weeks, so I'm not sure how much he would have. Yes, he's got the experience, but I don't think that was a decisive factor. I don't think we can say that would have made the difference. I mean, yes, of course, Adil Rashid bowled well, and Livingston had a very good 3 overs well. So they did what they had to do, but I'm not sure that one person would have made a difference. You needed to get early wickets, you needed your fast bowlers to give few breakthroughs, and that didn't happen. And even if Chahal had come on in the fifth, 6th over, 60 runs on the board, he would also struggled. There's no doubt about that, given the mood that England were in, and of course England got really deep. I think the disappointing thing was not so much that India lost, but the manner of the defeat, the margin of the defeat, 10 wickets, 4 overs to spare. And we must not forget that this is the second time in 2 World Cups that they've lost their 10 wickets after putting up 150 on the board. So those are things that we need to be a little more worried about. I think for the first time in the competition, India probably missed Jos Buttler because till now there's hardly any talk of Bumrah. And today, they must have missed Bumrah for sure. So, yeah, there are a few questions that need to be answered going forward.
Yeah, Kaushik, looking back at India's performances in these crunch games, knockout games, semi-finals, this has been the 4th straight loss across formats, starting from 2015. 2015, we lost to Australia, then 2016 against West Indies, 2019 New Zealand, and today 2022 against England. What India needs to do in these tough matches, Kaushik? What is going wrong for them in knockout games in ICC tournaments?
If you look at it up to the 3 previous matches that you spoke about, when we lost to Australia in the 2015 World Cup final, it was a brilliant 100 by Steve Smith. Australia made more than 300 runs, and then once you have 300 runs to chase in a knockout game, it always becomes a little difficult. I think in the 2016 T20 World Cup, India was a conservative. I think they had 20-25 runs too short in Bombay. It was a beautiful batting surface, and in Bombay outfield is obviously the Mumbai Wankhede Stadium outfield is very fast. The ground is not very big, and there was going to be dew. So I don't think they batted sensibly enough, smartly enough to. They should have got at least 25 runs more. And it was obvious at the time. Obviously, the New Zealand game again, the number 4 sort of came to bite them a little bit there because so fixated and you're so taken in by the form of the top three, Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, that India didn't really pay that much attention to number 4, and then it came to the crunch with the ball moving around. You suddenly thrust Rishabh Pant up to number 4. I know he made a 30-odd in that game, but unfortunately the top order collapsed, and then once you have lost 4 wickets for next match, then it is going to be really difficult to chase that. So it's been a combination of things in these matches that we spoke about. Today, of course, was it is almost like the 2015 World Cup when we lost to Australia. It is just completely one-sided. At least in the other games, there was a chance. Also, if you go back to the 2016 T20 World Cup, India got 2 wickets with no balls. So that was a problem as well. So I don't think there is a pattern. Yes, what do you do to overcome this? Well, you need to win the semi-finals first. That's the only way you can get rid of the bogey. That's easier said than done. One way of looking at it is that they are consistent enough in getting to the semi-finals, but I don't think there's any consolation for a team that prides itself in wanting to be the best in the world. And yes, it is slowly becoming a bit of a problem that we are not able to cross the semi-final hurdle.
Right. Looking ahead, next T20 World Cup is, of course, in 2024, and we have the 50-over World Cup next year in India. And what is next for the seniors like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Ravichandran Ashwin, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Dinesh Karthik, and others? Will we see them in the next T20 World Cup in 2 years' time?
Some of them I'm sure we will. Some of them I'm sure we will not. I mean, I'm not sure what the T20 future holds for Ashwin and Dinesh Karthik. One of them is 36. One of them, I think both of them are well past 35, 36. So it is the young man came, and hats off to Dinesh Karthik for having fought his way back into the Indian T20 setup. But I can't see him playing for too long. He might have played his last match for the country. Likewise for Ashwin, both of them are not there in the T20 squad that's going to New Zealand immediately after this series. That need not mean anything because a lot of the regulars have been rested. But I'll be very surprised if either of them plays for the country again in this format. Virat Kohli is obviously fit, and he's among the fittest in the world, even though he's 35, and he knows what to do. 34, sorry, he just turned 34 a couple of days back. So he will be around, I'm sure, if he has the hunger and the desire with him. It's more a question of how switched on he is mentally, because I don't think we need to worry about his fitness. Rohit Sharma, well, we'll have to wait and watch because 2 years is a long time in sport. Likewise with Bhuvneshwar Kumar. There will need to be an overhaul, but I don't think it will be a dramatic, sudden, complete overhaul. We need to slowly let people in to make sure that they're prepared for the bigger challenges ahead. It is a long road ahead for Rahul Dravid and for Rohit Sharma, who is captain across format for now. So, yes, there will be changes for sure. There's no doubt about that. But there will not be knee-jerk reactions to the fact that he lost in the semi-final. It will be an organic change because you need to get fresh blood into the side.
Right. One last question, Kaushik. Overall, how do you see India's performances in this T20 World Cup? It was just a matter of one bad day, or throughout the tournament, India was not that up to the mark, do you say, or it was just only today it happened?
No, if you look at it, India could have lost to Pakistan. They managed to win that thanks to a fabulous innings by Kohli. India might have lost to Bangladesh. If you look at it, if you break it down and simplify it, Bangladesh was one blow away from winning the game. India won by 5 runs. So they were pushed all the way. They fought hard. They scrapped really hard with the ball against South Africa when they didn't have a great score on the board. Obviously, Zimbabwe and Netherlands are easily taken care of. But if you go back and look at it, then there are 2 things that stand out. One is the lack of opening partnerships. In 6 innings, including this match, the highest opening partnership was 27. And that simply is not on. You look at England today, was the 3rd successful 50 partnership in this tournament. And you look at the pressure that is there on the middle order, on Virat Kohli, on Surya Kumar Yadav, on Hardik Pandya. It's immense. So I think that is something that we need to be mindful about. The other thing is, of course, the fact that when the opposition comes hard at you, then you don't seem to have a plan B. We saw that on the same ground against Bangladesh when Littendas took them on, and they seemed a little short of ideas. Today when Hales and Buttler came at them, then they seemed totally lost. I don't know, they just sort of, it seemed that they gave up and they were waiting for a wicket to fall. So those are things that are a little worrisome. Small worries, but yes, they will have big impacts on matches as we saw them today. And these are things that the think tank would have taken note of. These have to be addressed quickly because there is a lot of cricket playing ahead of the team, and obviously India is highly in demand. And it's fine. Again, the bogey of doing well in bilateral series and not doing so well in global tournaments is coming back to hurt India.
Thanks, Kaushik, for your views.
Thanks, Apu.